So I had this thought recently in my head going on and on and on, and I just wanted to share a bit trouble about it, and maybe I wouldn't be the only person with such opinion. Basically, I started reading again after a break of few months, and I picked few books that I wouldn't normally read because of challenges and just it's what available for me. And also at the same time I started watching again a lot of TikToks with books on YouTube, but still like book talk compilations. And I feel like authors make us suffer too much. What do you mean? Like tragic ending, people like crying and trembling, and like this book has destroyed me. However, like they still like is crying and so on, and say it's my favorite book ever. And I can understand because like you felt such a great emotions if book made you feel so much. It's probably great writing at least. And then if person say I want to reread it again, I'm like why? Why would you want to suffer? Um, First of all, I do not understand this desire to suffer, especially on a constant basis. It's okay, I think, if like once in a while, like maybe you're in a state where you want to feel like something really strong, and you pick a book where you know you will cry and be destroyed, or like there are people who like read on a constant basis such books, and. First of all, I do not understand that. However, also, I feel like authors often. I wouldn't want to say it's lazy writing because it's still hard to write, they still work, and still you need talent and hard work to write something meaningful, basically something that make you cry. However, I feel like it became the thing that the only way to make a deep, meaningful book that would make you care about it is to make readers suffer. And actually, firstly, I thought that maybe it is like why it is probably the easiest way to, or even the only way to make a person like have strong emotions and remember the character, remember the experience reading the book. However, recently I found few books that just solidifies the idea that it became a thing where authors write like traumatizing books just because they're selling in terms like I don't know, Little Lives. I think it's called like that. Basically, like it's a book about people suffering, like a lot of content, and it felt like I haven't read it, but I watched a few reviews of it, and it felt like the authors wrote a book just to basically make people suffer. And there are some also other popular authors that write again and again such books, or you still can make great stories without suffering and such deep struggles. And I feel it's often not even I'm mad that such book exists because it's just not my thing. It's okay. However, I'm more sad that the opposite doesn't exist. So basically, if I want a calm story without too much struggle, however still meaningful and so on, like best ways, don't know, like children's type of book or something like that, and they often I don't know, maybe I haven't found something like that yet, or most of them is like I don't know, Totoro novel, which is great. However, it's not about people in terms of like literal fiction, which I really enjoy lately. However, I want to people being happy. Life is hard, and I think I often relate to characters, and I want to relate them in the way that there is hope. It's actually great to live in this world. As that life is maybe not super easy, but you can enjoy it whole time. Because when you read people, it's like usually it's about their struggles, and they maybe come to some happy ending, to them figuring out. But my experience from reading such books leaves me that it's constant struggle. Just living, it's constant struggle. You want to date someone, it's constant struggle. You want just to exist, it's financial struggle. It's a loneliness struggle, and it's not that it's not necessarily true, but I do not think it's so big of a problem. Like there was multiple instances where I like, I'm like alone, lonely, and then like I actually do not want to talk to people right now. I actually really enjoy reading a book right now, and learning now Italian, and I do not actually like maybe I wouldn't be against talking to some people, but I often exhausted after talking to people, so it's okay for me. But after reading all these books, I'm like, maybe I I know it sometimes feels that I come up with struggles because it's what other people struggle with, and uh, why I think that it's possible to write deep, meaningful stories, which also has very interesting to read, while without deep struggles and trauma and crime. Is some stories I did read such like that. However, the thing is, most of them very fan fiction. Like one I really remember really good. It was a story about people meeting and basically discover their gender and sexuality. However, not in the way that books are written, where they are not accepted but all hold their relatives. They have struggles like half a book they cannot understand. They break up constantly. No, it was like each chapter was some struggle, but usually it wasn't even the struggle that it's culmination. It's struggle and then they figure out. For example, there would be chapter how they met, then a chapter of their first date, chapter how they decided to move together, chapter how they went buying pets, and it's all was very cute. But there was even deeper like conversation about one of the characters, man. Like he wanted to wear he had jewelry and pretty clothes, but he didn't want to wear it to work because like people do not do it, and he was afraid that he'll be judged, and basically his life would be much harder. However, he it's basically there was like chapter even few where he like were eating one day and he was complimented, and even they talked about exchanging like contacts of the person who he bought it from, and like not a lot of happening compared to other books. There are no such deep struggles that we are not accepted, or a person in deep depression and they finally somehow overcame it. No, it was really calm, really level headed, and it was cute and happy at the same very interesting. I was waiting for each chapter and was happy when there was a sequel, or when the story continues, and there were a few such fan fiction I read. Yes, some of them some similar I found it was boring, and however like these were really interesting to read because they found things that was interesting, like the chapter about them getting a bath. Like it can be written extremely boring, but it so basically I figure out that it's not about that we need struggles for the story. It's more that we need a good writing. So, or even like there are a series, some anime series not action based. For example, the Disastrous Life of Saiki don't remember full name, basically Saikiki, and like not a lot of happens in terms of plot. Like one series, he goes to a cafe, or someone goes to a double date, or someone decides to visit a relative, or something like that. But it's very entertaining. So basically, my point is, I think we need more happy books and less struggle and sad and depressing things. And also, if I'm just missing this book somehow, like maybe they do exist and just haven't found them, please let me know, because I like reading, but I want to read more happy, which made me like fuzzy and warm inside. So basically, yeah. I, by the way, do not say that such book do not exist. I just say think they're really far in between, and often they're fantasy. Basically, I think Cerulean Sea is something like that. Red, white, royal blue, probably. Also, I haven't read, but from description, but it's like far few in between. Like each booktuber review, like what I read this month, and it's like I cried. Interesting poetry. Oh, this one is cute. I cried, and it, like or like fantasy. So yeah. Thank you for watching. If you have a recommendation or would like to talk about this, discuss, please let me know. I would love to talk about this. Bye.